Hello, everybody. It's Rodell in the ATL, and welcome to another edition of Real Talk with Rodell. My special guest this evening. Man, let me just give a little bit about her. She's known her as Coria Burns, or some people call her CB. On Praise 1025 as C Burns, but truly she's just Coria. She was an distinguished senior integrated media specialist before being promoted to general sales manager over 5 stations, 5 clusters. Man, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. What a pleasure. Look, I've been seeing you out here busy doing it. Then I get a call. I'm like, me?
Absolutely, absolutely. So tonight's conversation about international conversation about Ghana and you as an ambassador. But I
Oh,
wanted to kind of start from the beginning with you, Corey, if we could, as to kind of how all this got started with you, because um, didn't know that you were actually born in D.C., Washington D.C.,
mm-hmm.
raised in Memphis, Tennessee, and then migrated to Atlanta. What was that like for you? That those particular transitions, and how long in between that happened for you?
Yeah, so I grew up in Memphis and then I left there, high school, headed to Knoxville for school, culture shock. I grew up in I won't even call it predominantly black, all black community, a very well-renowned community in Memphis by the name of Orange Mound. They were their own community. So leaving there, going to a PWI and studying forestry, big culture shock, but incredible experience, an incredible experience for me. And then right after college, coming to Atlanta and getting a taste of all Atlanta had to offer. And then I won't even call it mistakenly, ending up at Radio One.
Now, being at Radio One, what was it like? I mean, how did it start off? You understand? Was you started in the promotion and marketing department? Was it?
I didn't even start there. So I was in grad school, Rodell, looking for a little piece of a job, as they say, so I
Uh,
wouldn't have to eat ramen noodles, right? And I had worked for some temp companies in Knoxville, went to a temp company. They sent me to what was then Hot 97.5
mhm,
in
mhm.
August of 1995. Rodell, I never left,
Mm.
never finished grad school, and never left Radio One. Been there since August of 1995.
So you went from even before promotions to sales. What was that? What was that like for you? I mean, what caused you to get to this place where you are now, and what I guess what encouraged you or what passion you had to get there?
I'm glad you asked me that because I didn't have a passion for it. And when I tell you I come from a musical family, my mother has a degree in music theory from Tennessee State University. My father is a musician, plays tons of instruments, has taught kids and adults as well how to play different instruments from guitar to bass to keyboard my entire life. Both of my sisters can't sing. And Rodell, I can't carry a tune in a bucket,
Are
period.
you serious? I was about to ask you, what do you play? That was my next question.
Listen, I carried all the bags. That would be me. Okay. That's it.
Wow,
And I had
sound like
just
my
said,
mother, because my mother was like, no, I don't sing, but my kids can sing and play.
listen, that is
But go ahead,
it.
go ahead.
So I said, you know what? I'm not going to have anything to do with the entertainment industry. And obviously, I went in the opposite direction, studying forestry. I was like, I'm going to go study trees, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy. And then I end up at Radio One. My first job was a temp, helping out in the sales department, helping to do packages for the sales department.
Mhm.
And then from there, I would help out with promotions on the weekends. And then I got hired as the sales assistant in December of 95. Did that for about a year and a half. And then stumbled into sales, had never sold anything. And did that for 20 plus years. And then literally in a blink of an eye, general sales manager for all Radio One Atlanta stations.
So now, having a passion for the outdoors, as far as and all that studying you did you have a passion for radio at all at this point?
Not
No.
at all. Knew nothing about it. I'm telling you, I tried to run from it. I tried to run from anything having to do with the entertainment industry. But it's not about our plans. It's all about God's plans. And at some point, I had to just take a step back and say, you know what? You studied forestry, but you don't owe anybody. I didn't have any student loans. I didn't have to worry about that. Thank God. Let this thing play out. And as crazy as may seem, this past weekend was the first time that I had an opportunity to marry the two together. This past
Okay.
week, yeah.
Wow. And so now being in radio for these many years, how many years now?
August will be 29 years.
29 years. What have you learned, and what can you say to our audience that has really kept you or sustained you to this point?
The thing that I think has sustained me is, and I heard this a long time ago. I want to say I heard it from TD Jakes. I learned to bend in the curves versus
Mm.
going in the opposite direction. I remember when it was a time where people were like, "Oh, I don't want to get away from CDs." Okay, you better bend in the curve.
Yeah.
You know, People are like, "Oh, we don't need a web." I remember when people were saying we didn't need station websites. You better
Mm.
bend in the curves.
Yeah.
And as much as technology starts to advance, too many people are stuck right where they are and don't want to move. They don't want to do things any differently. And I think the thing that sustained me is I was willing to bend in the curves.
I want you to speak to that too, because I do have people around me with that same mentality where they get stuck and don't want to bend in the curve. What do you say to that?
I say to them, and I've talked to some of the salespeople that I manage now. In some cases, Rodale, you might do okay. You might be all right, but you won't be great
Yeah.
because you're not utilizing all of the tools and all of the things that you have available to you right now.
Yeah.
There was a time where I was like, I'm not doing social media. And during COVID, I said, you know what, I got to get up. I think I may have had, if I had 275 followers, I'm pushing it. I'm really, really, really pushing it. And I started getting around some younger people. I had a young lady in Dallas who started to help me with my social media. And it clicked. It's like, now you've been saying you need to bend in the curves, but yet you've been ignoring this part. And so many things started to pick up for me. So many things started to pick up. And it's not the number of people.
Yeah.
I can tell you that right now. It's not the quantity, it's the quality of the content that you're sharing with your tribe.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was what was so important. So the thing that I've learned again is just making sure that you try to utilize everything that's available to you.
People may not know this, and I will share this. Corey and I used to work together at Praise. I was on air personality, and she was sales, as she's doing now, being sales manager and things of that nature. And I recall in meetings where they were talking about having to, as you talked about, digital world, where you're going to have internet service applied to the radio station where people can actually listen to you online.
That's
And
right.
which was a weird thing to hear about, but it was coming, they were saying. And so
Mhm.
here we are now doing a digital show. You know what I mean? We're in that world, Corey.
Yeah. Well, what if you had just said, I don't care what happens, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then you get left behind. You think about a lot of the churches and the pastors. Don't nobody get mad at me now. The saints don't come for me.
No, this is called real talk. It's called real talk.
Okay, good. That refuse to, and I remember hearing this. Oh, we'll never do Cash App. We'll never do Zelle. We'll never do electronic. We all cash. You either cash or you're gonna write a check.
Yeah.
Some folks were playing catch up when we had to start going virtual.
Yeah.
But guess what? Some people were ready.
Sure
Some were
was.
ready. And there were people ready to give, but there were other folks trying to scramble and catch up.
Yeah, during that pandemic, man, it took a toll on a lot of churches, to be specifically honest with you.
But then you had some that thrived and are still thriving. It doesn't mean that they don't have people back in the house of worship, but it means that they have found a way to tap into both.
No, I
Yeah,
agree.
some of
Totally agree. Because I love online worship. I mean, you feel the same experience, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it depends on who you're listening to. Definitely, you can definitely have, and in some cases, you can get a little bit more loose at home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now let's talk about because whether people notice or not, you carry quite a few hats. You wear quite a few hats, and starting in radio with the degree that you wanted to go into, and then now sales manager over 5 cluster of stations here in the Atlanta area. Um, what what prompted you to write a book?
Oh goodness. So I'm glad you asked that. So for the last 11 years, I've been doing an event called Faith Board Experience. And Faith Board Experience is a faith-based twist on a vision board. I started this 11 years ago. I would do an event once a year and keep up with people. And then again, as COVID would have it, kind of put the brakes on people.
Yeah.
And folks were calling me like, what are we going to do? Are you going to do it online? What's going to happen? And that year I did end up doing something virtually, but people wanted something physical that they could hold. And I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to write this book? And coworker from Radio One that used to work with us, Kathy Daniels Jenkins, she said, you know what? You got all this information down already. You
Mhm.
just got to get it out of your head and get it in the book form. And she said, what is it that you normally share? How do you share it? I said, well, it's 5 principles. And she said, what are the 5 principles? And I said, I don't know. I don't know how to get this into my head. And then I remember meeting AJ Joyner, who had a book writing app and that used to make frequent visits to the station. So I reached out to him, and he showed me how to put everything into an outline and put it all together. And I sent it to Kathy, and then before you know it, I had this nice book on Amazon: Pray, Plan, Execute, Fail-Proof Goals in 5 Easy Steps. Why do I show it to people? Because Rodell, I promise you, we all got something up here, and we don't think that other people can use it. We don't think that other people need it. But if we can use it and we need it, why wouldn't somebody else? And
Yeah.
it doesn't take a whole lot. You can use apps like Blooksy that will allow you just to put all of your thoughts into one place and organize it, and go on Amazon and upload it. And here it is. And you can say it's about money, but it's really about your knowledge and how many more people can utilize that. I told a girl the other day that I'm coaching. I'm also a mindset and a life coach.
Hmm.
You're so talented. You're so brilliant. You got all of these things in your head. She said, I just don't know, how I can do that. And I just don't think that I want to put it on paper. I said, you're being selfish. That's
Mm.
selfish. Because if God blessed you with this vision and you're keeping it to yourself, I said, you don't think that that's selfish?
Yeah. So pray, plan, execute. Can you
Yep.
kind of break that down for our audience?
Sure. So the whole premise of this came, I would see people doing these vision boards, and I have a really good friend that started me with vision boards, Phaedra Parks, and she wanted to do this girls trip, Rodale, at the beginning of
Girl,
the year.
Housewives of Atlanta.
Real Housewives, one of my
That, that
best
that's so
friends for
yeah.
20 years.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow,
And she
that's
said,
great.
let's go away for the weekend and do vision board. Rodale, if I had rolled my eyes any harder, they would have felt right out of my head. I said, I don't want to go to this beautiful hotel and do no arts and crafts project. Who wants to do that?
Right.
We did these vision boards, Rodale. But the beautiful thing was at the end, we put them all on this table and we prayed over them. We prayed over these visions. And one by one, I started to see them be manifested.
Mm.
And I remember having this vision board on my coffee table. And I said, that's not a vision board. It's a faith board. I said, because I prayed about it. And then I had the faith that each one of them would come to pass. And I said, here you got these people every year cutting out these pretty pictures, putting them on a board. I want this size house and I want this car and I want to be married and I want to do this, that, and the other. Did you pray about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you pray about it and then you plan it out and then you execute it, it's fail proof.
I'm thinking of the scripture where it says, "Write the vision and make it plain."
Absolutely. There you go. Absolutely.
You got
So
to
this
do that, man. But
our
go ahead.
book really walks people through But the most important thing, and it's going to tell you, pause and pray first. And then you may be thinking, oh, I'm supposed to be a singer. And God might say, you know what? You're a good singer, but I really think you're supposed to be on the production side. Or I really think you're supposed to be a writer. Or I really think you're supposed to be an arranger. But we miss those divine appointments and or those divine assignments rather,
Yeah, yeah,
because we're so concerned about what we want to do and we never pause first. We put the vision down and then we ask God to bless it. Wrong. Wrong. No. We pray first and Lord, reveal to me what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. And then we can plan it out and execute it.
so do me a favor and speak to those people that seemingly can't stay focused on the plan or the praying process of it. How do people stay focused? Because it seems as if there's a lot of distractions around.
Yep.
What do you say to that kind of person?
Now, you know what? I don't know if you peeped in this book, but first of all, there's a section in here about planning for distractions.
Mm,
Too many times we plan something out, and then as soon as a hiccup arrives, or as soon as a speed bump comes, or whatever, we completely get off track. You
yeah,
have to plan for distractions because life gonna life.
yeah,
We
yeah,
know that, right?
right.
And then the other thing is we have these grandiose dreams and we jump off the cliff thinking that we can do it all at one time. So, two things: you got to plan for distractions. That means that you have to, I have apps on both of my phones and my computer that will not allow me to get on social media after a certain time.
Oh wow, okay,
And it will lock me out. Well, I can, but when I tell you I got to go down the street around the corner to Alabama and back to turn it off,
right.
by the time I do that, most times it's not worth it. You got to plan for distractions, Rodell, and
Plan
cut
for distractions.
plan for distractions. Turn the TV off. I told one young lady that I'm coaching right now, you need to have a sit down with your family and you need to let them know what it is that you want to do because you seem to be the go-to for everybody else. And what's going to happen is you're going to look down the road and everybody else going to have accomplished their dreams. You're going to have nothing to show for yourself.
How about that? How about
So that's planning for family distractions. The
yeah?
other thing that I will share with everybody is think big but start small.
Mm,
I use the weight loss. You know, a lot of people know I used to weigh close to 200 pounds. It didn't happen overnight. You know, people look up now like, oh my gosh, how did you do it? Well, one, the same trainer I'm with, I've been with her for 2 years.
okay.
I had to plan for distractions because I didn't think I had the time. You know me, I got a lot of stuff on my plate.
Yeah, yeah,
Then I had to think big, but I had to start small. When I first started out, I could only go to one or two classes a week. That's all. That's all. Look, that's all my scrumph would allow me to do at the time.
yeah.
But then, as I got used to that, I added on personal training, and then I added on something else. And then I started saying, well, I'm gonna add a hike or a walk in here. I'm gonna change my eating. Think big, but start small. But you know how we are. We look. We say we're gonna lose 30 pounds, and if it ain't gone in 45 days, we give up.
Yeah, yeah,
Better
yeah.
keep time.
We do, man. Because
We do.
in other words, there is a process here, people. There's a process. You gotta go through the process.
You have to go through the process, Rodale. You have to.
And another thing I would add to that is just some discipline.
Yes,
You gotta have some discipline, man. When you're talking about uh, having some plans and then praying about it and then executing those plans and
that's
uh,
right.
fail-proof goals in 5 easy ways,
Yeah.
there's some discipline taking place.
It's definitely some discipline. And sometimes that means writing it out so you can see it. You know, there's a place in the book where I have where you can write your goal, but then you need to break that down into mini goals.
Hmm.
And then those mini goals you need to assign tasks to that you can do every day. Maybe it's 30 minutes a day until that task is done. And then you move on to the next task. And then before you know it, if you've completed all those tasks, guess what? You got a mini goal done. You move on to the next one. And then you look and you're like, wait a minute. I've been saying forever that I was going to write this book or start this business. And this is all I had to do. Yeah, you had to be disciplined, like you said, and don't give up. Can't give up.
Yeah.
The book is available on Amazon. Pray, Plan, Execute, Fail Proof Goals in 5 Easy Steps. It is a journal style book to guide you through getting to your goals. And it is going to help you do everything from visualize your goals to pray about your goals to plan them out, to, like we said, managing distractions, and wash, rinse, repeat, and do it again.
Mm.
In addition to the book, I also offer a life coaching course. It's called Reboot, Reclaim your life. And we can absolutely look at something like that if you need more help. I'm sorry, Rise Up, Reclaim, and Reboot. If you need something like that, and I only take 3 women every 90 days. I could
Okay.
do more, but for me, I want to make sure that I can give everybody my undivided attention. I have a teacher in Philadelphia right now. Um, she won't mind me telling you this. She wants to start a teeth whitening business. Now, don't ask me why. It
Mm.
doesn't matter.
A teeth
But
whitening?
her daughter is in dental school. She wanted to go to dental school, and so I guess I do know why. Her daughter's in dental school, and they want a business that they can start together. So they want to start a mobile teeth whitening business.
Interesting.
And hey, it is what it is. But guess what? She is probably, I'm going to say 35 days from literally being able to take her first client after having this idea for the last 7 years.
Mm.
7 years.
So how long did it take you, Corey, to produce this book?
Well, the book really has been, I guess, in the works for probably the last 11 since I've been doing faith board experience the first
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But I sat down and I'd say it may have taken me 4.5, 5 months to complete it.
Mhm.
And that is because I carved out time every day. Like I said, I used this app called Blooksy that AJ Joyner developed. It made it so easy because I was able to go in, type inside it, or voice record inside it, and it would translate it. So sometimes I would be in the car and I would think of something, and I'd say, okay, this is supposed to go in step 3, and I would record it with my voice, and it would go right into the app. So with the help of that, it may have taken me about 4 or 5 months to complete it, and it was done.
And you're still coaching.
Still coaching.
And uh, what do you find that you present to your students on a regular that has been real rewarding to you as the instructor?
Oh, wow. I won't say that's easy, but it's easy. And it is getting women in particular. I'm going to say, and I have had a male client, but getting women in particular to understand that the more that they make themselves a priority, the better they are for everybody else.
Yeah.
So many cases, women feel like I got to be busy, I got to be doing this, I got to be there for everybody else, or else I'm not going to be the mother of the year or the wife of the year. And they put their goals on the back burner, trying to be there for everybody else. Wrong answer, ladies. And I'm gonna give a super brief testimony. I never forget the year that I did faith board experience virtually, and I had my son on. At that time, I guess he was maybe 16. Had my son on as a speaker, and that probably the last year and a half, I really started to make myself a priority, and that's what his entire speech was about. He said, I'm so happy to see my mother happy. My mother has always been there for me. She was the drop off mom. She was the room mom. She was the soccer mom. She was all of that. And he said, he said, but now I see her happy
Mm.
in a different way. Not only does he see me happy, guess what? And I'm telling y'all can drop the mic on this one. Now he knows how to treat and the expectations to have of his wife. They're
Yeah.
not out of whack.
Yeah. That is so key,
That
man.
blew me away.
Yeah.
That blew me away.
That's good to know, man, because our cultures and particularly men, and I'm gonna really get into relationships as well on this platform, because we do know how to treat our we do need to know rather how to treat our queens, and that has been a plight for quite some time, and I'm glad to see young cats getting it along the way. There's still some of them out there that gets it, but there's a lot of us that have really dropped the ball when it comes to that. Really have, and it's good to know that your son is he sees and he understands that process.
Absolutely. 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 So the
So
tables turned.
yeah,
I'm about it. Tables definitely turn.
and I'm enjoying this conversation, man. So now the really reason I brought you on because, like I told you guys, it's this lady wear many hats. Okay, but the real reason I brought her on, man, is I call her the international ambassador of Ghana.
Look, get
Yeah,
them to write me a check if that's the case, but that's okay. It's rewarding in itself.
no, but seriously, I have been seeing you for quite some time. Go on these trips. You get on Facebook Live and you talk about these trips and you share with the audience about the experiences you've had. And then you also try to encourage people. Listen, man, y'all really need to go check out Ghana, man. Y'all missing out. I guess the first question I want to ask you before you go into the positives and the things that you've done and the people that you've influenced in going to Ghana, what have been the myths, Korea, about
Woo.
Africa?
That everybody in Africa is begging, broke, busted, disgusted, or and trying to get to the US. And none of those can be further for the truth. I have friends right now, they not trying to get here. I mean, nothing necessary. Well, I will say something against us. This is real talk.
Yeah,
I had a man tell me, I just need to let you know that my goal is not to get to the US because I feel like the black man is the most disrespected person on earth.
mm,
And the US is just not a place that I feel like I could thrive. Yes, there's opportunities. Yes, I could probably go and make money. But for me, the amount of disrespect that I see for black men in the US, it's not for me. Rodell, I was like, wow. And I said, well, you think it's everybody? He said, your son decided to leave the US and go to school.
duh.
I said, stay out my business.
Okay, yeah, right. Where's your son? Is he in America? No. How about that?
Right, right,
How
right.
about that? Yeah, man. It's good to hear that because you do hear a lot of negative
You hear tons of negatives. Yes.
stories about Africa,
Like
and
everybody living in a hut. Like
yeah,
when you get off the plane, you're gonna see an elephant. I mean, it's just ridiculous stuff. Like seriously ridiculous stuff.
but there's so much to know about this place. What can you share with our audience, Korea, that people need to know that what y'all really need to experience some other cultures and other places because you'll be surprised of the people in America that has never left America.
Yes.
Probably never left their backyard to be exact. And certainly not their state. Like, no, I ain't never been nowhere. What do you
Yeah.
say to people like that?
I say, you know what, we if we allow everybody to feed us, the narrative and we accept it for what it is, then that's exactly what we will get. That is exactly what we will get. I got to be honest, and I'm embarrassed to say it now that, and I've been blessed to travel to over 20 countries.
Mm,
Africa was not on my immediate list. I'm not going to say that it wasn't on my list. It wasn't on my immediate list, and there wasn't a sense of urgency. And I'm ashamed of that because I've been to tons of Caribbean islands, and it was my son who actually urged me to go to Europe for the first time.
mhm.
And at 11 years old, and we went to Europe, but it wasn't until I went to Africa and I said, "Oh my gosh, I have been to France, I have been to Italy, I have been to Spain, I have been to England, and I ain't been to the motherland." You ought to be
Yeah.
ashamed of yourself. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
But I mean, there's a lot of people saying, "Man, that's not motherland for me. I don't want to be a part of that." What, I mean, why do they even think like that? First of all,
I don't know why they would think like that, but here's the deal. We've been conditioned to think that way.
okay.
We really have. Not only have we been conditioned to think that way, I believe, And I'm not what do they call it? Conspiracy theory, whatever the people are. But I believe that there is a concentrated effort to keep us out of Africa.
Okay.
I do. Now, after having gone to Ghana 11, I've been 11 times. I think I know a little bit,
Yeah, yeah.
just a
That's
little.
why I call her the ambassador, y'all. You see what I'm saying? Now you get it. You get it now?
But so much misinformation,
Yeah.
just unbelievable from, let me, I'll say this. Y'all, our existence did not start with slavery.
Wow.
And when we pick up our story, we pick it up from slavery. Think about it. In
Yeah, we
schools, even now, when we pick up our history,
yeah,
it starts with slavery. But so much happened before then. We still have kings and queens in
yeah,
Africa.
absolutely.
But we were kings, we were queens, we were landowners, we were builders, we were inventors, and still are all of those things. But unfortunately, our history too many times starts with slavery.
Wow.
Wrong answer. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the positive. What have you learned and what inspired you to just keep going back? You went this first time experience. What was it like? And then what made you keep going back constantly?
Sure. So the first experience, when I say it happened so fast, because if people are not familiar, in 2019, Ghana came up with a campaign called the Year of Return. And it was an opportunity to invite diasporans back to Ghana. And I don't want to call it a celebration, but it was the 4-year commemoration of the last um, the last slave ship that left for the last slave ship, I'm sorry, that arrived in the United States.
Okay.
And so the campaign was so successful that they said, hey, we're going to turn this into a 10-year campaign. So successful that you feel like you got to do it for the next 10 years. Because I want to say it was something like 500,000 people, Black people in particular, came back to Ghana
Okay.
uh, for the Year of Return. So they said, okay, you know what? Let's do this. Let's turn this into a 10-year campaign, and encourage more and more people to come back. So as part of that, they started putting together different panels and things of that nature for people in the diaspora to share their knowledge with people in Ghana. Another misconception: everybody wants something from you. Everybody wants you to write a check. Everybody wants your money. The majority of the people want your knowledge.
Wow.
And why wouldn't you share that?
Yeah.
So I was invited to participate on a entertainment and media panel. Little did I know, me sitting in my house in Douglasville, Georgia, and when this Zoom came on, there were hundreds of people sitting in a ballroom in Ghana.
Mm.
Hundreds. And all they wanted to do was just hear from their brothers and sisters. They just wanted our knowledge.
Wow.
The young lady who was moderating the panel, who has become my sister, Denta Omotang, she's actually my business partner now too, with in the group travel business. She said, "You got to come. You got to get here." I was so amazed at the questions and the thing, just the little things that
Yeah.
that was valuable to them that just seemed like nothing to me.
Yeah, we
Um,
as a culture have a tendency to take things for granted, maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Entitlement. We call it what it is. And
Yeah.
entitlement and taking things for granted. I think it's two. And sometimes I don't know if we mean to do it,
Mhm.
but we do. Simple, simple, simple things that people want to know. And I did that panel, and I want to say 2.5 months later, I was on a flight headed to
Mm.
Ghana for the first time. Landed in Ghana the first time in 2021. I think it was end of July, August. And I was back again by November of that same year. I was back again February of the next year. And like I said, between then and now, I've been 11 times.
Wow.
Um, and people would say, "Oh, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go." Okay, whatever. We'll see.
I'm sure
And
you
then
get.
look, and then one of those lives that you saw me on, my uncle said, "Go to Ghana again, and I'm not with you, and see what happens."
Because let me tell you something. You really sold me on it when I saw it. When I actually saw you doing it one time from your hotel room, I believe. You were standing outside on the balcony or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this woman here is really talking about this place. And I've actually always wanted to experience Africa, but didn't know
Yeah.
how to approach it or how to go about
Right.
finding ways to. And then to see you take these trips, about how many people that goes along with you each time you go?
So that first trip, which was September of last year, I actually asked Denta to put together a package for maybe 4 or 5 people. I mean, this ain't Cancun. It's Africa. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's not Destin, Florida. And before it was all said and done, it was 10, 12, 14, 15. I kept trying to cut it off. And before I knew it, Rodell, 17 people followed me to Ghana in September of 2023. 17 people. The youngest was 25 and the eldest was 76 years old.
Mm,
17 people. It was so successful that Denta was like, "Hey, we got to do this again, and we got to do it again." I've already done another group trip. I just did one in February. It was a smaller group, um, but it was more family.
uh,
And then I've got 3 more in 2024. There's a YouTube recap of it. And every time I look, it's grown. It is over 280,000 views. I get an email or DM almost every other day about this YouTube video. Y'all go and look at it under Odana Network, Odana, and look for my picture of me and 17 people going to Ghana. It's a commercial all in itself. Didn't mean
that's
for it to be.
that's what sold me. I saw the video. I'm telling y'all, people, go watch the video. Like she says, it's on YouTube. What is it on the YouTube again?
It's on the YouTube if you search for Odana Network, Odana Network. And then you'll scroll down, you'll see my picture. You'll see my picture there. But Rodell, I had people telling me that they watched it with their family over Thanksgiving and Christmas. I have 3 ladies, they're sisters, all retired. They're going with me in December. They
Yeah.
watched it last, I want to say December, and kept saying, "We're going, we're going, we're going, we're going." They didn't forget, and they've paid their deposits, and they'll be with us in December.
Well, that's why we're here, everybody, because I did the same thing.
Yes, absolutely,
I,
absolutely.
the video got me. First of all, I watched the video several times. I've watched you come on even in Africa. I've seen you on video on Facebook while you're in the States talking about your experience. I was like, man, this woman is constantly talking about Ghana.
Absolutely.
And I've always had the desire to go to Ghana, just to know the ins and outs of it. So I said, I know Korea. Let me see if I can connect with her, find out what needs to happen, because, and then to hear now that other people is doing the same thing. The video itself really speaks for itself, doesn't it?
It really does. And to know, Rodell, that there are people following me to Ghana who don't know me, have never met me. In the February trip, there was a nurse from New York City. She watched the video. She texted me, and I can't remember. She may have asked me one question, and we were on the phone, and I saw the deposit come through.
Yeah,
And I said, "You don't even know me."
yeah.
She said, "I watched that video." She said, "And that's all I needed to see." She said, "I can feel your spirit through the screen. That's all I need to see." And then there are 2 other ladies who are going with me on the first September trip. Never met them, don't know them.
Wow.
And they're following me to Ghana September 1st through the 7th.
Now, you see on the flyer, everybody says travel with an established group led by an experienced U.S. host and local tour guide. I take it your birthday celebration is that first week of September.
It is. My birthday is September 7th. I am committed to going to Ghana every year during that time. I do have an orphanage that I went to last year, and I made a commitment to them that I would be back every year for my birthday. By the way, I never go back to Ghana without giving back. I don't care if I go on a solo trip and nobody knows that I'm there. You might see me passing out shoes on the street.
Mm,
And I do that, Rodell, because I feel like I get so much
yeah,
that I have to give something back. It's like I don't want to keep making withdrawals and not make a deposit. So
yeah,
I do a give back every single trip. There we will never have a trip with me anyway, and we not do some type of give back.
yeah. This is good stuff, man, because our people need to be not only inspired but educated and informed on things that are going on around us, and to realize that there's a bigger world out there, and we need to experience some of those things, because you find that a lot of people, man, just never go anywhere, Corey. I mean, it's sad to say. It's unfortunate. Um, I've been several places myself. I love to travel, and there's just some people just afraid to get on a plane. They won't,
Yeah.
they can barely ride a bus, But I'm like, come on, man, stop walking in fear and start walking in faith, you know?
I'm telling you, listen, I don't know. I sacrificed a lot of sneakers and video games for my son to travel when he was younger.
Yeah.
He didn't have all of the high fashion type stuff, but whenever I could do it, we traveled.
Hmm.
That's where I sacrificed and saved money was for us to travel. Like
Yeah.
I said, at 11 years old, I was blessed to take him to Paris because he said he was studying the Paris Treaty in school. And now look at him. Rodell, there's no way. Studying abroad
Yeah.
was never a thought for me.
Okay.
It was never a thought for me. Um, I went from Memphis to Knoxville, and that was a nice little hike,
Right.
you know. But I'm glad now that I made the sacrifice, because to see him that fearless now,
Yeah.
just it means the world to me. It's so rewarding.
Now, Corey, let's talk about in particular the prices, because I can always I can even almost hear people saying, "Oh my God, look at these prices."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Here again, it's that thought process. It's your mentality.
it is. It's a
Tell
thought
them.
process. And Ghana is actually one of the more economical places. But I will tell you this. Everything that we squeeze into these trips, when I did the very first one last September and I did my exit survey, they said we did too much
Mm,
because I wanted to I wanted to try to squeeze so much of what I had experienced into these trips. But I will tell you this, that trip in September, people will tell you that they didn't think that it was enough.
mm.
Think that it was enough based on what they got out of it. I have one young lady who's already been back. She back with me for Easter this year. It's her second journey. She's
Okay.
already signed up for the September 6th through the 12th, and she's trying to work it out to go back in December.
Oh my
That ought
goodness.
to tell you something.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So, and then here's something else I want to make sure that I don't forget. That price not only includes your transportation, not just from the airport and back to the airport, but it also includes your transportation while you're there. It includes breakfast every day while you're there. I take care of another two meals while you're there, one dinner and one lunch. It includes your lodging. It includes all of your excursions and everywhere that we go. You're not going to have to pull out your wallet unless you want to buy a souvenir,
Okay.
or unless you want to tip the tour guides or something of that nature. Food is extremely economical. But here's the big thing, and I didn't even know it was a big thing. When you operate in excellence, Rodell, you find out stuff because I take care of your visa. I take
Uh,
care of your visa application. I take care of your visa fee as part of that. So we had a young lady who traveled with us in September last year, and she said, "No, no, no, you can't do the visa." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Well, you have to mail that in, and you got to fill out the application and mail it in and wait for it to come back." And I kept telling her, "No, no, no. The people I deal with, we don't do that." And she said, "I know, what it's going to cost. That's going to be another 200, 300." No, no, no. I'm almost positive. I said, "But I'll check for you."
yeah.
When she found out that all she had to do was send me her passport bio page and her flight information, and we took care of everything else, and she didn't have to pay any additional money, she said that was hands down for her. She knew that we had our stuff together. So the visa also
So
included
that
as well. And I guess from what I understand, that's a big deal.
that is a big deal. It is. So basically, what you do is you give people. Of course, you probably have a payment plan
I'm glad you
that's set
mentioned
aside,
that.
right?
I have a payment plan, Rodell, and I am super flexible. And let me tell y'all why.
Yeah.
Y'all, this is not a get rich quick for me. Not a get rich for me. I love Ghana. And if you can't tell that by this interview, if you can't tell by following me on Instagram, whether it's at my Go Travel Chick brand or my personal page, just Korea, then I'm seriously not doing something right. My goal is to get as many people to Ghana as possible. I haven't had one single person
This is beautiful.
disappointed. I don't count on anybody ever being disappointed. So you let me know what you can do. I had a young lady who I'm not gonna call her name, and she said, "All I can spare right now is $100." She said, "But I'm going to get my taxes done." When my tax refund come in, you getting the whole check. And I was like, you sure about
Yeah.
that? She said, this is that important for
Yeah.
me. I must get to Africa. And I thought, wow. And she did. She said, I know $100 is not the deposit you asking for, but if you can just hold me a little corner of a spot, she said, and give me a few weeks. She said, I'll take care of the rest. The only thing that is not included, and I want to make sure I mention this, is your flight. So I had people coming from 5 states the first time. I would have loved to include flight, but as you know, Delta will only count you as a group when it's 10 people all coming from the same location and traveling in the same class. So I had to relinquish that. Um, but it does give you some options. I've had people, of
Yeah.
course, Delta
Yeah.
is one of the main airlines, and then United. But there's also Turkish Airlines. My brother and his wife took Turkish Airlines from San Diego. And then there's Ethiopian Airlines that flies out of Atlanta as well. So there are other airlines. There are other choices. I think maybe KLM or Air France. So you just need to set your alerts on Google. And when the flight hit a good price, go on and pick it up, and let's go to Ghana. That's all I
Yeah.
can say. Let's go to Ghana.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's some culture, tradition, as well experiences over there, everybody that we need to be a part of and take advantage of. Really, to be honest with you, how do you encourage people, or do you even have to worry about encouraging people? The times you've gone, it's just kind of people just kind of
That's
come to you
crazy. It's
about it. How does
crazy.
that
People
work?
fall in my lap almost daily. When I say daily, if it's not somebody who's already gone, like a Rashida, you said, you saw Rashida comment on the post,
Right, right,
and I might put up a post on my Instagram and she'll at somebody like, hey, you booked yet? You did this yet?
right.
Or people it's people that I don't even know who have referred people to me. The YouTube, like I said, 280,000 views. I'm going to get people from the YouTube video. Um, Things like this, podcasts and interviews, and people in Ghana are now referring people to me that
Oh,
they
okay.
know in the States. I have a young lady that's going to be going with us. Um, I don't even remember which one, but she's in Jamaica.
Hmm.
She's going with us because somebody she knows who lives in Ghana knows somebody. So this is like 3 people removed. So
Yeah,
I'm grateful that people trust me, even when they don't know me.
yeah,
They
yeah.
trust me to take them on this journey. And I never say, oh, it's a trip. This is a journey. Y'all, this is an emotional journey. Be
Hmm.
ready to laugh, cry, um, be amazed, be bewildered by some of the stuff that you're going to hear that you thought was true. Unbelievable, some of the things that you will experience.
Can you talk about, there's some people out there probably a little reluctant to eating certain kinds of food or whatever. Is the food different there, or is it sort of like what we're used to? What's the
Yes,
temperature
great
there?
question. So you looking at the pickiest eater on earth. If you have worked with me or you know me, listen, y'all, I don't eat condiments. That goes for mustard, mayonnaise, salad dressing. I don't like tomatoes, tuna fish, potato salad, and I'm black. Okay. And I don't eat
Don't do
spicy food,
none of that.
even though
What?
it's from the Bayou and New Orleans and the Gulf down in Biloxi, and I don't eat seafood.
Wow.
Well, I didn't eat. I don't eat spicy seafood. Every once in a while, I'll indulge in maybe lobster and shrimp. Maybe y'all. When I go to Ghana, I eat like a crazy woman. Do you hear me? For some reason, and I don't know what it was that I tasted in Ghana. And when I tell you it fired me up. Quite a bit of spicy food. You can request it not spicy. But I
Okay.
tried something and it was so good. My eyes was watering, but I couldn't stop eating it. Because I think maybe the spicy food that I've had, Rodale, was just to be spicy. Like, who can make it the spiciest?
Yeah.
And in Ghana, it seems like I can taste every spice. I can taste the garlic. I mean, I can taste all of the spices. So, there's going to be quite a bit of spicy food. I'm gonna tell you that a lot of curry, a lot of spicy. You can get everything, to your comfort level.
Mhm.
Um, but for me, being the picky person that I am, and I go to Ghana and I eat from sun up to sundown. Now, here's the thing I've learned though about eating out of the country. You're not gonna come back. You're gonna come back lighter than you went. I don't
Mm.
care where I've gone. Dubai, Barcelona, even France, Italy, where you eat a lot of pasta, Ghana, where I eat jollof, red, you name it, I'm eating it. And me and my girlfriend said, "You ever realize that when you leave the United States and you come back, you can eat everything, and you come back 2, 3, 4 pounds lighter?" And I said, "I thought it was me." She said, "No." So that's a podcast for a whole nother
Yeah,
situation
man,
where they
that's
realize
a that's a win-win too to know that because
win-win.
because you go other places. I consider myself as a foodie. I love different foods, love different people that different cultures of food, and so it's just good to hear you say that because all that is a part of the trip, man. People need to know that.
Oh my goodness. And I'm gonna make sure I can't give away all of the surprises. I'm gonna make sure you get to try a little bit of everything. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
Like I tell people, when you come and you realize all of the things that I just throw in and I want you to experience, you're like, okay, I get it. Listen, for the most part, I'm giving away anything that I am getting from anybody. I'm giving it back
yeah,
because I'm doing give backs, and we're gonna give back, y'all, for real. We're gonna give back, and you're gonna know that we're giving back. You're gonna feel it. Um, yeah, all of that. I have so many surprises. I can't give away everything, but even the tour company is like, "Corey, you can't do that. Like, you can't do everything." Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I can figure it out.
that's what's up.
So, and they're always like, "Girl, you ain't gonna leave with a dollar for yourself."
Well, I'm gonna
But
post this one more time. Let make sure everybody see this real good and clear because these are the dates that are left.
yep,
Um, that you need to start preparing for if you hadn't started. September 1st through the 7th,
yep,
which is her birthday celebration week. And then she's got September 6th through the 12th.
yep.
And then, of course, December 27th through January the 2nd. Now, to me, that's going to be my birthday gift to me because my birthday is in January.
Oh, well, you're gonna have a blast because that is
I look-
celebration month for Ghana.
Okay.
December is when everybody comes home. It's a month-long celebration. It's Afrochella, which is now Afrofuture. It's something going on from sun up to sundown in December. They call it Dete December.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So you're gonna have a blast. And I do want to make sure I say that September 6th through the 12th, that is a deeper journey. So if people are looking at the price, it is a little bit different. We
Mhm.
will take a flight to Kumasi, home of kente cloth, on that particular trip, and we will go into the Ashanti region, and do some other things that are, I'll just say, on another level.
Yeah.
Be strong in your faith. Be strong in your faith. And not in a bad, not that you got to be worried about something happening,
Right.
not at all. But y'all, it's emotional, it's heavy. If you think these other journeys are heavy, that 2.0 journey is heavy.
Mm.
Yeah, I
One
got
more
some
time.
going on the 1st through the 7th that's going to be staying over for part of the 2.0 while
Are
they're
you
all.
serious?
I'm not kidding. And these people have
Wow.
never been to Ghana. And I was like, you driving up the cash register, but
Yeah.
she said, I'm not going to even tell you what I spent when I went to, she said, I guess when she went to the Middle East, she did a Middle Eastern tour. She
Hmm.
said, I can't spend a portion of that going to Africa. It's something wrong.
Yeah.
People think Africa is supposed to be cheap, I guess, because it's Africa and they don't have this and they don't have that. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
That's why I want you to dispel the myth, because that's what it is. It's a myth.
It is absolutely a myth.
Yeah. So how can people reach out to you, of course, and get more information and how they follow you, all that good stuff? Let people know before we get out of here.
Sure.
Best way to contact you as far as this trip is concerned.
If you have Instagram at Go Travel Chick, just like it sounds spelled out, that is my travel brand social media. My personal is just Coria. That is my personal on Instagram and on Facebook. And X and Threads and everything else. You can always find me at Just Coria. But I'm also justcoria@gmail.com. Super easy. It's just Coria pretty much across the board. And then my travel brand is Go Travel Chick. On any of those, you can reach me. If you haven't had an opportunity to jot down Odana Network and go to YouTube and watch this video,
Yeah.
you can contact me or my business partner, Denta Omatang with Guba Tours through the YouTube video as well. So any of those, you shouldn't have a problem finding me.
Coria Burns.
That's it.
Thank you so much for sharing with our audience some real talk, man, about some of the things that we've not experienced, but we need to know that there is a better world, is a great world out there. And we sometimes don't take advantage of some of those great things and opportunities that come our way, and we just pass them up or look the other way and be missing out on some great things.
That's good stuff right there, Rodell. You're missing out. Let's see the world. Let's see the world. You know what I mean? It's so much that was created outside of our small, mindsets in our small world. Let's see the world. Let's go to Ghana. Let's go to the motherland.
So as we close, give us some encouraging words to keep our audience not only inspired but to keep going, man. Just keep going. What do you have to say?
You know what? I would say, make yourself a priority. And guys, look, the more and more you put things off, the less important they become. And then before you know it, you're sitting and you're trying to figure out where the time went. And in some cases, and this is not a scare tactic, in some cases, you're not even able to do what you wanted to do. I'm gonna be honest. Right now, I would love for my mother to go to Ghana. I don't know if she can make that trip now. I don't know if she can make that trip. I would love for her to, um, and I've been trying to figure out ways to do it. But I wish we hadn't waited so long, so that this wouldn't even be a concern. Be good to yourself, man. Book the vacation, book the trip, book the journey. The kids will be okay. The job will be okay. The family will be. Everybody will be okay.
Listen, man, I'm proud to say that I'm a retiree and I'm on a fixed income, but I'm gonna find a way to get to
You're gonna
Africa.
find a way. Yeah, that's good. And
I'm
I'm gonna work with you, whatever I gotta do.
talking about, man. So thank you so much, Coria, for coming on and sharing with our audience the importance to travel. And yeah, man, she's the international ambassador for Ghana, y'all. Y'all better recognize.
Somebody
Y'all better.
contact the Ghanaian government and get me a position.
I know, right? That's what they need to do. That's what they need to do. Thank you so much, Coria, for your time, and please, we'll love to do this again if you have the time, and at whatever time you see fit, and we'll do it again, hopefully, or either talk about something else you'd like to talk about. But
Thank
platform
you.
is open to you, in
I
other
come
words.
back and talk about my travel journal. I'll let you
There
know
you
when it's
go.
done.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, and have a great evening.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for watching us right here on Real Talk with Rodell. Y'all